samples come back at 35,000 miles, and there's still 60-70% of the additive package left.
With the Banks oil pan, how much is it adding of oil?
About a quart. So between the bypass and the Banks oil pan, it's about 2 quarts more. So there has been a lot of discussion about, is more oil better? And Banks says it best if you guys want to hop over onto his website. But in some circumstance, more oil definitely isn't better, because now you're just heating up more oil. Because of the design of the pan, it increases capacity a little bit. And that was simply just how the pan got designed. It wasn't designed intentionally to give a huge oil upgrade like some of the other pans out there. I'm not going to mention any of the flat back pan names or nothing like that, but they think that just having more oil in there means you're doing better for your engine. All it really means is that you're spending more time heating up more oil, but you still have the final result of being the same temperature oil that's going through the system, whether it's in a diff, a transmission, or an engine.
Yeah. From my understanding, though, of more oil is that's why, like, semi-trucks last longer, is because they have so much more oil capacity in there that it takes a longer time to
break down the additive package.
To break down the additive package, but then also it has supposedly cleaner oil for longer.
Yeah. So here's part of the issue with that. Having more oil does create your additive package to last longer. Less oil, of course, additive package is going to break down faster.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's talk about what we're doing with the oil pan. We're also doing the oil filter bypass, which takes out the contaminants that create degradation of the additive package. Semis, yes, it's a totally different monster, because those engines are made to go 750,000 miles before they have to do an in-chassis, and then 1 million before they got to pull the motor and replace it or totally rebuild it. And those also, you can't just stop every 15,000 miles in a semi and change out 15 gallons of oil. That gets very expensive very quickly. So they're designed a little bit different, to where they don't have to go every 15,000 miles to do an oil change to refresh the additive package. But let's say if we were to put adequate engine oil coolers on the bigger semis that kept the engine oil cooler than what they currently are running. For instance, you can go with the L5P and go all the way up through, was it 2019? And Banks actually has a video on this, where the earlier L5Ps, the oil cooler, when you take it out, only stands about that tall. When you go up to a 19, the cooler stands that tall. You go up to 22, it's that tall, and then to 25, it's the same height, but another redesign of the oil cooler. So they're actually keeping the oil cooler a lot longer, and for, the length of your drive cycle, so that it doesn't degrade the additive package.
Yeah.
And on a side note to that, Banks is also offering the upgrade cooler packages for the L5Ps. So that's something you also can look at as well. So the key to keeping the additive package at its maximum strength is to make sure that your engine oil temperatures are down throughout your whole drive cycle, and that they're adequately filtered. So if we can control those two aspects of
contamination and heat, then
your additive package lasts longer.
Okay.
And that's why we're seeing, with just the install of the oil filter bypass, why we're seeing samples come back at 35,000 miles, and there's still 60-70% of the additive package left.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're filtering out all of the other stuff that does help destroy that additive package.
Yeah, and then also with the bypass filter, this is aircraft aluminum, and so when the heat goes up into it, it actually dissipates the heat. So you'll actually see a 5 to 10 degree temperature change in the actual engine itself.
Yes. The key to it is control temperature and control filtration.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to the Banks oil pan. So instead of the thin steel pans that they come with, they don't dissipate heat near as well as their aluminum pans. And they're a die cast. They're not a sand cast aluminum. And what that's going to do for you is create a much smoother surface on the inside, whereas sand cast has a very rough finish. It's like scratching your finger on a broomed sidewalk after concrete's been poured. It's not smooth at all, whereas a die-cast surface is smooth. Plus, they offer the cooling fins on the inside of the pan to help give more surface area for that oil that's coming in contact and dissipate that directly through the fins on the outside of the pan.
Yeah.
And the way that the fins are designed, it's to channel the airflow across it so that it can radiate the heat from the oil pan out to atmosphere.
Same concept as the differential video that we did too. Same concept with the fins and everything.
Yes, exactly. You know, you're given way more surface area across the pan on the inside and the outside for the heat to conduct to from the fluid that's being cooled. So you have more surface area and it translates right to the fins on the outside with more surface area, and then you channel the air across it to help keep it much cooler.
Do they have this Banks oil pan for the Mercedes Sprinter vans?
No.
No. They need to have one for those because
there's so many problems with those Sprinter vans.
Holy cow. I talked to one guy the other day. He's like, yeah, my average temperature on my Sprinter van's 250, 260. I was like, what?
Your oil is gone.
Your ad pack was burnt up like the first 15 minutes of it being at 250 degrees.
Oh yeah.
Your ad pack is completely gone. You're not doing anything with that with the oil.
Exactly.
It's like you need to get an oil cooler on that ASAP.
Big time. Well, I've got a lot of you guys know I have a 2014 1500. I've got about just over 240,000 miles on it. But I pull heavy with it. I've got a 35-foot camper that I pull with it. Now, I've redone my suspension so it can handle the weight. You got trailer brakes to help you stop. So literally all I'm looking at right now is just power, all right? So yeah, the 5.7 Hemi's lacking in power, but when I am pulling that thing upgrade, my oil temp gets up there like 260, 270. So every time we go out, I change oil before we go, and right after we get back, I change it again because that ad pack's gone and 500 miles of running it at that temperature.
Holy cow.
And the motor is wearing out, and that's part of the reason why that the temperatures are so high.
Yeah.
And I understand this. We're going to put another motor in it, and that might be a surprise too because I think I'm going to transplant a 6.4 into that half ton.